Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Here out of turn 4.
Tries to slam the door, but they sends him right back up the racetrack.
Big moment for Boney between him and Dexter. It's Ryan Kuhn yet again out of turn number 4. He's going to win for a second time in the Misfit Touring Series. But it's all about Christian Peterson out front. 9 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 4 times he's finished runner-up. But tonight, it's the first time win here in the Touring Series.
Christian Peterson after 17
It is hot, and we are here at Lucas Oil Raceway for yet another race of the Misfit Touring Series Season 3, RaceMRL.com. Quite a bigger track we've got tonight, and this is a little bit different for us, and I'm joined alongside by Justin Prince, as well as our excellent producer, Morgan Cook, and our cameras coming to you tonight, provided by Dougie Beard. My name is Scott Scheib. We'll be bringing you all the action right here on V-Speed from Lucas Oil Raceway. JP, let's get it started. Let's talk about the track. It's long.
Yeah, you're talking about a .686 mile facility, 1.1 kilometers in terms of distance. A little bit bigger than the majority of the races on the schedule. Second, you're talking about a racetrack where the top line is all going to be more prevalent here. You have to be able to ride up towards the wall, if not a lane down from it around here a majority of the way. You can't just be running the bottom because it's much flatter below that first seam. So it's going to be more lane sensitive in terms of that aspect, and it's going to make things all the more interesting on how drivers handle things for their tires.
A lot of times here we see the NASCAR trucks run at this place, and we see them run the bottom and all the way up to the top. Let's see what the late model stocks will do here this evening. Saw some drivers experimenting with the high line in practice. Of course, 12 degrees up in the top of the turns. This place made in 1970 with a nice shot view of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's talk about the points. And though these drivers, Jake Grout still continues to lead, but some drivers are closing in. Grout has yet to finish outside of the top 5 this season. He's looking like he might have of JP last race at South Boston Speedway, but he was able to find his way into the top 5. Christian Peterson and Kyle Terzak in second and third. They are on that hunt. Terzak with a handful of wins this season. He's won in every race that he has started, and he said that he is going to run for the championship this series in Season 3.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle up front. Keep an eye as well on Christopher Shepard, who's 6th and 7th the point standings. In fact, coming into tonight, just missed a race. And he's been quick as well in terms of his long run speed. But keep in mind, we're just about at the midway point of the season already with a new calendar year. It's going to be busy from here on out. Remember, you have Mystery Night coming up. You have tracks like Southern National and more. It's going to be critical to start scoring points for the championship.
It is absolutely going to be critical. We will start our Mystery Night 1 week from now, and it'll be the mark of our halfway. But let us get into the grid. The invert is 8 this evening, so Kyle Terzak, who went fastest in qualifying by just 0.03 of a second, will start back in 8th. Jake Grout, your current championship points leader, will start up in 7th position in the 4th row. Back behind them, moving forward in the 3rd row, starting in 6th, it'll be the 74 of Michael Weissman. He makes his return to the Touring Series for the first time this season in Season 3, and Christian Peterson, 2nd place in points driver, will start in 5th spot in that 3rd row. Up to the 2nd row, it'll be Aiden Millette, a newcomer, full-time runner at Langley in real life, limited late model. He will start in 3rd. It'll be Brandon Atkinson in his number 15, starting in 3rd. To the front row for these drivers, Christopher Shepard, driver in the hunt for the championship as well, and not too far out of it, will start in 2nd, outside of your pole sitter, Tanner Berge. Back behind them, we'll jump back to row number 5. It is, as it stated, 9th place for Riley Music, who came up just shy recently at the 3rd annual Rudolph 250, and Larson Parker will start 10th.
Then you flip the page over to Thomas Dean, who'll start 11th today. John Leday makes an appearance. He'll start in 12th spot in the 22 car. Landon Atkins, he'll start in 13th today. Greggy Lawn makes an appearance for the first time in a while. He'll start 14th in the 38 machine. 15th is where you'll find Michael Wade this evening. He's been working hard on the gearing tonight, and Aaron Johnson starts at the tail, part of the 16-car grid. It's going to be a wild night to see how things fare out tonight here on V-Speed.
It is going to be interesting to see how they fare. 16 drivers set to make the start this evening, and they pulled off of pit road. Not often, JP, do we see drivers in the late model stocks. We normally see the iRacing grid them up on the front stretch. Not many tracks do we see them actually grid down in the pit lane. I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest talking point tonight is going to be just the size of this track and if the top lane comes in and if it's viable.
Yeah, I know with the stock cars, you kind of have to run the higher lines, but a few people in qualifying were trying to charge 2 lanes down more than just the 1 lane, especially in 3 and 4. It really depends on how the tire wear plays out and how the rhythm really plays out, especially with how tight you can get with the right front from running the high side. So it's all important to make sure you adapt, especially with this race, and better yet, manage the tires. 100 laps, no sets of tires in the pit lane, you better not burn them up.
You cannot burn them up. Like you said, 100 laps, no sets of tires available. You've got what you got. Drivers will have to see. They might have to make a pit stop for fuel. We're just not sure of it yet, but we'll keep you noted on that and updated 3 green-white checker attempts as possible. And in terms of keeping up with the track, you do have open setups, all these drivers. Part of their different setup shops. We got Trick Chassis out there. We've got RKM. We've got a couple others that people support. And if you come in for fuel, well, I imagine you're going to want to make some changes because it is hot on the racetrack. Current temperature, let's check it out, 99 degrees current track temp. And it is 78 degrees ambient temperature. Oh, this is going to be interesting. 35, Tanner Berge starting up front. Christopher Shepard in that purple and orange number 19. First time he has had a front row start this season. And so Christopher Shepard, we'll see what he can make of it. Tanner Berge, we talk about Jake Grout being aggressive all the time. Tanner Berge has shown us recently that he might be one of the new aggressors this season. Will he keep that up, and maybe could he cap off his first win in the Season 3 Misfit Touring Series? 100 laps lie ahead from this drive in Indiana. Let's get it on. They travel long and hard down the back straightaway. It's Brandon Atkinson nearly already making contact with the number 9 of Aiden Millette. Atkinson would love to solidify his 3rd position, but Millette will try to battle back on the high side.
This is kind of what I was talking about with the lane, right? Trying to run a little bit higher up. There is the chance to diamond off the corner. Try and cut down to make sure you don't plow up into the outside wall. We're seeing that in particular. Millette trying to do that while in the side-by-side. You can tell, though, once you wrap this bomb below the flat part of the racetrack, it's going to be difficult to be able to keep alongside for sustained parts because it's less banking by a couple degrees. That makes it all the more tighter and have to put that much more wheel that'll cause you to wash up in turn as well by exit.
You saw it right there, exactly what you were talking about, JP. Brandon Atkinson just sliding up off the corner into Millette. He held the momentum, but look who is falling back. It's the 19 of Shepard. He's losing momentum. That has allowed Atkinson now to get side by side with him, moving past Millette. Millette squeezes, makes the hole work, nearly 3 wide with Shepard and Wiseman. Wow, I can't believe he made that work. Christian Peterson makes contact with Shepard. He is falling quickly.
Apologies coming over the radio as I think Peterson just about trying to clear in front of Shepard, and Shepard is all discombobulated. That fender is crushed, and that arrow's going to hurt him for this one. All the way to the back at this point, no momentum, and Shepard needed point. This is the disaster to start things off, but the race lead is going to be the interesting thing from here with Atkinson looking to try and maintain. Millette is looking pretty solid, though, now that he's worked to the bottom.
Just such a different style racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway. It is just so different for these drivers. You think about getting hard on the brakes all the time and being able to make moves. Well, tonight you're going to make moves in a much different way. Momentum is a key tonight, and that damage from the nose of Christopher Shepard is what you've seen him fall back nearly outside of the top 10. He has fallen all the way to 9th, currently holding on to that 1 spot in front of 10th spot, number 18, Larson Parker. Parker will try to charge here as of soon. Some of these drivers trying to fight to get into the top 10 as well, like Landon Atkins and Jake Grout in that 49. Another night where 49 is farther back than we would think.
He's been kind of one of those drivers that's performed late in races as of late. Had a bit of struggles last time out. I think right now just hoping for cautions to be able to rebound. But everybody else here see a part of this train that's formed up. Kind of just getting into a spot. First time in a long while we've seen Michael Wiseman make a start in this series tonight. I know he was surprised about the tires, having no tire sets available, but can he make it work for the long run is the question, to be able to preserve the best of the best know how to make the tires last so you can perform for the final 25.
I like the call because it is going to be really important to take care of your right rear tonight. It's going to be very easy off the corner to try to drive off that right rear and carry as much momentum down the straightaways as possible, because you saw with Christopher Shepard, even though he had damage, you saw how quickly it's easy to lose momentum no matter what it is and fall back quickly into the arms and guns of your opponents. So right rear, looking after it tonight is going to be important. 10 laps in the books this next time around. Tanner Berge has led every lap since the start of this race. You're watching from the rear of him to the 9 of Aiden Millett, who has made the pass for second over Atkinson.
Yeah, it's become a choo-choo train for the most part here with just the way this track goes. Hearing right now that some of the drivers are in major save. Aaron Johnson in particular, I think he is the only person not within touch of anybody. This is a little bit absurd right now. 15
I was going to say.
seconds. I mean, one of the last times we've seen him, he did burn up his stuff, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, and you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So this might be maybe if you're on one side of the fence or the other, and as we see a pass for the lead, Aiden Millett looking for it inside of Tanner Berge. He'll try to close the door out of 4. Yes, he will. New leader number 9, Aiden Millett. A very different style, track style, race style than he is used to. Regular time competitor in the limited late model at Langley Speedway up in Virginia. And this is obviously a different part of the country, a different part of real life as it is in the sim, and a very different racetrack. But back to Aaron Johnson, I want to move back to him. We saw him at South Boston, led a couple laps and charged up and competed at the front for the first portion of the race. And of course we saw the tires come back and bite him later on. They eventually blew on him, and he had to come down to the pit lane and replace those tires, and it was a DQ penalty because there were no extra sets of tires, same as last race, same as this one. But this is an over-aggressive save. You just saw that jump. This is the lead pack, and we just jumped from Aaron Johnson to this lead pack. It's not a lot of time between them two, and JP, I wonder if we don't get a caution sometime soon, if he keeps saving like this, if he might go a lap down.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a massive gamble that Johnson's playing, but I think he's just hoping. Chaos, chaos, please. Some chaos, please. But other drivers at this point, you can see just the approach. Try and let the car roll on the center to be able to make sure you have good corner exit while also not sliding up. Noticing in particular, Berge is having a hard time holding back this pack, almost having to go a little bit lower to block the momentum of everyone else here.
I really think as we see a move from Riley Music inside of Weissman, it's a battle for 6th between the two of them. Music going to try to slide up, pinch the exit of Weissman, move him up high. Well, how will he respond back in turn 3? It looks like Weissman will let him go. Maybe thinks about a crossover. No, he will fall in line, but we're side by side once again. It's Atkinson looking for the inside of Berge, and you just saw it. It was a 78 of Johnson. He just went a lap down. He was way off the pace.
At this point, you have to wonder if it's just the fear of blowing out a tire, with especially.
He just let the entire field by.
Had to. I mean, he kind of had to, because they're running down to that second line. Do you want to be the driver who caused the pack to break apart? No. So, kind of just had to let them go Olay style. We'll say, Terzak, he's usually one of the drivers we see that pushes hard to charge the front, then saves. Has kind of been the opposite tonight. Hasn't made the charge despite being the fastest in practice qualifying.
And that really might speak to how this racetrack will race in terms of tire wear and what it will look like. We saw it just last race at South Boston. He was able to charge up the front just like you said, and was able to lead from then on out. But it might be a bit of a slower trickle this race around. Terzak is up to 4th after starting back in 8th. Of course, he was the quick time qualifier before the invert was put onto the field. But right now it is Aiden Millett leading the charge of this over 10 car pack that are all bunched together within 0.2 of a second of each other. And that essence right there shows you the amount of tire saving that all of these drivers are doing. Every single driver in this 10-car pack is running within a couple hundredths of each other. So pretty much the same lap time every time around. The question is, JP, at what point will somebody decide to stop following the trend?
25 to go. I know how simple that answer is.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's early on. It's early on. We know if you push in the first 20 laps, 25 laps, you're going to be following by lap 35, 45. So that's what I think is everyone's thought process is. If you force it anywhere, you're going to fall back if you don't complete the pass immediately, and you risk burning up the stuff. So I think everyone's just kind of getting into a pattern set to be able to plan things out. Some of the drivers, though, have to eventually press the go button to have a chance to make sure they have the chance to use those tires, because you have drivers like Wade, you have drivers like Johnson, who is a lap and a half down. I think he's picked up the pace now. Shepard, who's had to back off with the damage. You have Dean that's struggling. You have Grout back there. At some point, you have to think, am I going to really make up 12 seconds?
And I agree with you there, because that's what I'm thinking. I think that those drivers are, I mean, unless the follow-up is absolutely gargantuan, I think you're going to have a caution. I mean, even if you're Michael Wade on back, Reggie Long, currently in 11th spot, is the last car in this pack train, and that number 38. Back from him, it's like you said, it's Michael Wade, 4 seconds back, 6 seconds off the lead. Then it's Shepard, 8 seconds off. Jake Grout is sitting with him at the same 8 seconds. And Thomas Dean is back 12 seconds, so about half a track from your leader. I really think if you're Indian, then you're going to have a caution. And maybe that's what their goal is. Maybe that's what they're thinking. There's no way we could go this entire race without a caution. But guess what? That's exactly what we did last race at South Boston. 0 cautions. So that's the only thing I don't like about the strategy, is that just last race, we had 0 cautions at what is usually quite a hectic track.
Yeah, and at this point, I think one of the drivers you have to keep an eye on to potentially thinking about a poke here is Durzak, because look at his good center roll. He's a little bit quicker than that 71. There it is, a poke to the inside, trying to force up Christian Peterson. Peterson forced to lean on that rear tire.
You could see it hurt his exit just enough. Out of 2 that time. Turzak showed the nose into 1, and he is able to roll that seam right where he is running. Right where Turzak is the transition of banking through the corners. Left sides are a little bit less banked. Now the right sides, he's fully on the banking, wheel to wheel with the 71, and I think Peterson is loose. Not just because of how they're racing right now, but I think however his team and Trick Chassis has it set up, he just looks a little more loose at this point. Turzak looks more in control.
Yeah. But the question is, what do you do to combat that at this point, right? Is obviously if you're having a loose setup and it's about trying to get the temperatures down is at least part of the thought process here. Also, the process is just how you approach the corner, try and keep a straight wheel, try and lessen the amount of tire force on the wheel in general. Is an error factor that you might have to come into play. Not sure what your thoughts are on that here, Scott, but it's about trying to make sure your percentages on those rear tires don't outweigh the right front.
Well, and I like that the question was posed, because these 2 drivers running 3rd and 4th are our only 2 winners from this season so far. Christian Peterson, a 2-time winner at North Wilkesboro and at Martinsville. 4-time winner for Kyle Turzak at Five Flags, Oxford Plains, South Boston, and at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. These 2, if anyone, have the best strategy and the best racecraft and race strategy. For Peterson, watching his car and knowing that he is the looser of the 2, I've got to imagine that he believes this racetrack will come to him and the car will tighten up as tires wear and as the track maybe gets hotter. I know that's a little counterintuitive. Usually as the racetrack gets hotter, you get slicker. But of course, I've got to imagine that Peterson and his team and what the knowledge that they have, he's got to know that this is a strategy play and not just, crap, we messed up and it was too loose.
Yeah, and it's all now about just trying to see where things go with the long run from here. Now look at this, though. They nearly turned around. Berge was leaning on the door, got a little bit tight there. That's how tight the margins are of the racing line. The 22 is trying to force Berge to give this up here. Berge is willing to bump to hold on to that preferred groove.
Oh, Berge didn't like it. Gave him a little check down the straightaway. Leday holds his line down to the bottom, and he will slide on through. That is Leday promoted into 6th spot. Tanner Berge all the way up from the pole is down to 7th. So the race not playing out the way of the number 35 as he would have had it. And look at this, Greggy Long, he's trying to make some moves. He's past Landon Atkins now, and he's up into the top 10, and he's challenging Michael Wiseman.
He wants to go for the spot quickly. You see the diamond line right there, trying to use a little bit more of a cut to power off the corner exit. You can use the very bottom if you're very aggressive with it. Along that apron onwards, about the same banking as that first groove in general. Just cannot seem to get a chance to fully clear on by, and now it's going to force a complete reset. As here's more side-by-side again.
Oh, John Leday, he may be starting to make some moves and more contact between Music and Leday. Music, he's done well. He did well in the 3rd annual Rudolph 250 to drive the high line. Look at that, trying to pinch down the 22, and it works. 47 back with the nose, more contact between the two, but that sends Music high.
Leday is not making friends, is he? He's at one of the Trek chassis machines here on the field tonight. He's not afraid to make contact. Watch Music. He's not going to give a take. There it is.
He was not going to have any of it. It was slight contact between Leday and Music handily returned the favor. Now does Leday maybe think that was too aggressive? Does he give anything back and think that he was wrong?
I mean, the counterpoint is, Leday was the one who fed the door in the first place in turn 1. You would expect that to happen. Keep in mind, Leday's teammate, Brandon Atkinson's also trying to go for the race lead on Millette. Hasn't been able to get fully alongside yet. You can tell Millette playing the lines a little differently now with Atkinson feeling the pressure, or at least the urgency, to try and go for this spot before Terzak tries to get there.
Lines, like you said, they're just slightly different. Following closely, but still driving different. Looks like Atkinson is letting off a little earlier into 3. That time it looked like he was closing in a little bit more in 1 and 2, because now he generates a great run down the back straightaway. Doesn't take the look to the inside yet. Might be sizing up his move, but it's clear that Millette looks like he's getting tight through the center. Atkinson still able to roll fairly free.
Oh, here we go again. Leday's to the inside. Gave the 3 and 4. Watch for
Contact
the door.
Again.
Yeah, I don't like this here. Here's Leday. Watch for it again. A little bit of air between them this time. Leday's not afraid to push it right up number to number here, and this is bottling them all up.
And a great battle for us, a terrible battle for these two drivers' tires. They are using it up, and now Berge, he's trying to get back in on the action. Leday just made a pass on him a couple of laps ago. And now with him being tangled up with Music, he's trying to get back into the action and bring back some of those spots that he lost from early on. And look at that, caution. It is Michael Wiseman in the 74. Sideways in middle of turns 3 and 4. It brings out our first caution of the day at lap 44. We were nearly halfway. We saw this fight going on earlier between the 38 of Greggy Long and Michael Wiseman. Landon, it looks like Landon Atkinson, or excuse me, what's his last name? I missed it. There we go, Atkins. You saw the contact there.
Yeah, Long holding on the line. Wiseman just pushed up. The thing is, though, watch here. They're already dooring each other, similar to the battle in front of the first place. Wiseman just tried to find a way to get the edge while holding on to right along the dash marks. But right about here was where it gave back here. A little bit better charge for Lawn. Position Wiseman in a spot where he just snapped around the contact and immediately punched the brakes so he didn't loop it around or slide it around. He immediately locked it down. And he'll come down pit road.
Yeah, I imagine maybe he's got some damage. And again, this is my question about fuel. I kind of want to try to listen in on some of the radios, see if they're saying anything. But obviously, Millette has not brought it down pit road. Peterson is on pit road. And to that, I've just got to imagine there's no way these drivers can make it. I mean, that is what?
Peterson's out of the car.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Why'd he jump out of the car here? He was contending for this race lead. Now he's jumped back in. I don't know if he was trying to help Leday with the replays, with Leday having an issue with his situation. But is there something obviously going on, have to give up all the track position?
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, it's over 200 miles, or over 100 miles, excuse me, when it comes to how far these drivers are racing this evening. And I just don't know if you can make it all the way in the fuel. But of course, the drivers would know that. And if that was the case, I figured at this point, all of them would have come down for fuel. So that makes me question myself.
Yeah.
We'll do a 9:18 side-by-side while we have this caution. And maybe behind that, we'll get to talk about, see if these guys can actually make it on fuel. We'll be back in just one moment. Got to figure out. So, got some interesting news while we were quickly away. Thank you to 918 Designs for sponsoring our side-by-side. We appreciate all of our partners here with the Race MRL and with the Misfit Racing League as well. With us at V-Speed, we got the question answered. A lot of drivers were coming in that time to check tire wear, so there was no, I mean, I think you could have taken fuel, but I imagine drivers didn't, but they were just checking on their tire wear, and they will lose positions because of that. So it really shakes up the field. It'll still be the same on the front row with Aiden Millette and Brandon Atkinson, who were the leaders upon our first caution. Green flag back in the air for the first restart of the day.
And now this is going to be the curious part for everybody who has been saving. How much tire do they have here for the second half of this race? Johnson, who's going to be starting for the back, going to be somebody to keep an eye on. Look at Terzak. He's now in a full charge mode. He's been waiting for this caution for a chance to be able to pounce. Watch for him to try and go into the dive for the race lead soon.
Atkinson was in his rear bumper out of 4, nearly lifted the rear tires of the 15 of Terzak. They made contact through there, but Terzak was able to cut him off down into turn 1 to make sure he held that position. So Terzak on the charge from 8th now to 2nd, looking for his first time to lead today. As we cross halfway, it is still Millette in the number 9 leaving. Aaron Johnson still saving this time as we got a spin. Brandon Atkinson right in front of the field, and Greggy Long makes contact. Wiseman as well in the grass.
Well, that was a little bit chaotic again. All started off with a send for Music. You'll see it in turn 1 where there is a little gap, but Music's trying to hold on to that little bit of a difference between the left side tires, the right side right there. Atkinson left it a little open, and he slides it down, and they end up stacking up behind him. Wiseman gets a hard hit to the door.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate for Michael Wiseman in the 74. And I think Atkinson is probably going to call it a day here. Heavy right rear damage to the quarter panel. And over the radio, Atkinson was clearly frustrated. And I can imagine why. I mean, that Music, it just looked like a miscalculation by him, but looked like he was getting tight on entry and just kept driving up, and the 15 of Atkinson was there.
Exactly. And at this point, Atkinson, all he can do is help out his teammates here for the pit box, likely with how big the chassis damage was on that machine. But now, everybody has the question, are we going to see cautions, precautions here at this point of the race? It's worth noting that Aaron Johnson did not go on push mode like I thought he would. He made a pass and immediately went 0.6 off the pace. From what I hear, he's expecting even more cautions. He is trying to make sure he has the best tire wear by 20-30% of this race.
And I mean, this is some strategy if I've ever seen it. I mean, and it's quite a gamble. And yeah, I love what our producer Morgan Cook said. 5D chess. That is absolutely what is happening. This is not a checkered strategy at all. It is most absolutely chess. And right now, I would say, JP, it's falling his way.
Yeah, just had a couple spots picked up with the EOL penalties, but also the incidents. So letting the spots as they lay right back into his opportunities. But I think Terzak is going to be on the charge here immediately off this restart. Don't be surprised to see the 15 try to take the lead and then try and make sure that buffer holds on from this point forward. We've seen him take off on long runs.
I'd fully agree. And I think starting on the high side, he's going to try to pinch down the 9, try to hold him down and carry his own momentum off of the top and wrap right around to take the lead and hold it. For that same point, talking about Johnson and his big countermeasures when it comes to saving tire, it's been 55 laps, and you saved heavily. You went a lap down earlier to save. You were more than a second off the pace to save tire. It's go time now. You're going to have to work all the way through the field, and if Terzak is the leader, you're going to have to get to Terzak and find a way to pass him. In 45 laps, that is going to be probably just enough time to do that. But any less time, and I think that Johnson might get stuck, and if he gets hung up on someone, but I think it is time for the 78 to go. But that's just my thought process. Let's see what that driver will actually do and what he'll do in the seats. All right, we are back and getting set and getting ready. It's Millette inside, now Terzak on the outside. He's won 4 times this season. He'd love to pick up a 5th.
Immediately Terzak having to get into the shuffle. Look at this Hornet's Nest, though, with the side-by-side. Peterson has already recovered a majority of the spots, but with that incident, has significant left rear damage that he's going to have to go with a bit of pushing and shoving for 3rd.
Larson Parker into the left rear quarter panel of the 35 of Berge. And Berge, through everyone, people pitting to check tire wear, he's moved back up to 3rd, but it's Larson Parker, who also made note of all those drivers coming into the pit lane. He wants to challenge for this spot on the podium. And in front of them, it is still Terzak right behind Millette. Here we go, crossover from Berge. He's going to give some contact back to the door.
He's saying, what tires? Those are bricks anyway. That will end up chip away like stone. He's just pushing hard to try and take this spot back. There's only so much you can do, though, before you start overheating the tires. A bit of contact again. Berge not afraid to use the door. This time, crossover not there yet.
Looking inside, Parker just has it by a nose as Berge blinks out of the session for a moment. But you just said it. Key to this battle is going to be overheating the tires, and that is exactly what they're doing. And off the nose, Berge goes around to the inside. Parker. Oh my goodness, off the nose of Parker, you saw Berge went around.
Well, that's the way to get it done. Not clear.
And that, I cannot imagine, will not be an EOL penalty. It most likely will be. A close racing between these two. And the tempers were maybe a little high between the two of them, but Parker, let's see if he squeezes Berge here off the edge. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
Berge went all the way up to the wall.
I mean, what all you can say is, I guess Parker didn't appreciate how the battle was going in turn 3.
I mean, but he kind of started the door, and he was the one working to the inside.
Exactly. It's kind of a thought of, is it worth it? This is your best track position of the race, and you just threw it away for a battle for the 3rd position.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, I don't think it was absolutely purposeful, but by that look, I would not say it was purposeful. But I will say, you were just racing close, and I think Berge will probably see it a different way. Parker will say, hey, I wanted to, I had to carry every bit of momentum I could, and I just got too close. And to his detriment, he will lose all that track position that he had gained.
Yep, and we'll say, who's up towards the front here now? Christian Peterson. Here's how this car's going to run with the quarter panel torn up. But he seems to be doing a good job picking them off and gaining back all these spots despite giving it up to check the black box for the tire wear. It's not been bad. Weissman, despite the slams to the door, also doing the same thing. Oh, wow. I know Michael Wade was trying to figure out the setup side of things and how to drive the track before today's race with Kyle Adams. He seems to have learned pretty well if he's up here now.
He has. He has done fairly well for himself and, not made contact with anybody and pretty much stayed where he has been and let people move on past. And Wiseman. He's done a good job even after getting involved in the first caution that has come out today, and then he got involved a little bit with the second after contact with Brandon Atkinson. He went all the way to the grass to try to miss it and was unable to, but he's sitting in fourth. And one thing to say about Wiseman, he is the season 1 champion of the summer series, and that was the first year that it was a late model stock summer series. It was a short 8-week series, and while he did not pick up a win, he did pick up the championship, but he has won early on in season 1 of the touring series. So Wiseman, absolutely someone that could be a contender, but again, he hasn't raced Christian Peterson or Kyle Turzak much at all, and I can guarantee he has not raced Aiden Millett in the sim. So it's 3 drivers he has not had much race time around.
To be intriguing to say here what the battle is going to play out. Here we go, though. Can Turzak get a line up to dive to the inside at some point? Green, green, green. Big stack up on the inside.
Everyone trying to time when Millett was going to go. Same with the 15 of Turzak. He has gotten his nose outside of the number 9. Like what I thought he was going to do the last restart, but he chose this one to do it. Millett gives him a little bit of a door. Peterson looking inside as well. It's pretty even, number to number, for the 9 and the 15. Turzak has yet to lead a lap today. He will lead that one by just a hair of a millisecond, but he's still not out by a nose yet. Millett really squeezing him up high. He knows this is the guy you're going to race hard.
Yeah, right now Turzak trying to make sure that fender stays. Look at that, though. Millett nearly fed him the door. He's giving him just about no room to operate, trying to force him up and burn up his right front tire, force him to get tight, so he backs out of it. This is impressive, though, from Turzak to keep it along despite being bounced around here.
This is 2 really young drivers, and look at that big move by Turzak, sends it down all the way to the inside. First driver we've seen touch the yellow line all evening long. Now he has the offensive position. He'll make wheel-to-wheel contact with Millett. Now what will Millett do? He tries to hang him down, pinch him down low, but Turzak, he's now got the offensive play, and Millett, he pulls across over now as well, but he gets a tag from the 74 of Wiseman. He saves it.
Great save as that slid him all the way to the bottom of the track. Just had to make sure he lifted a little bit, got the grip back. But that's exactly what Turzak wanted in terms of a buffer. They're spending more time trying to fight for second, third, and fourth than trying to catch up for the leader. This is now the Turzak special.
He would have liked to have gotten it done a couple laps sooner, but he got it done nonetheless. It was a strong and powerful bottom side crossover move for the 15 of Turzak, and those 2 drivers nearly got to race each other together in real life at South Boston, weekend of the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 in the Limited Sportsman Division. It was an engine blow-up for Kyle Turzak, so this is the first time, to my knowledge, they are racing together, whether it be in real life or in the sim. Now it's a battle between another Langley driver, Riley Music, in real life, and the 71 of Christian Peterson, who came down pit lane last caution by.
Yeah, this is getting to the point where some of these drivers are saying, no more saving tire. It's time to go. It's time to punch it. Music on a good recovery from Izio Alpelity. Grout is starting to go for it. Johnson's starting to go for it. A lot of these drivers who have been around 20% all race are now going full 100% to pick up these spots as quick as possible here.
And after running into all the laps earlier, they are still running 4/10, nearly half a second faster than the lap times they were running before the first initial caution. So like you said, drivers putting their foot to the floor and really getting ready to go after it, and they are doing just that. Christian Peterson back in 6th spot, really hasn't made any moves. He's actually lost position since this, and Wiseman, you can see him, flips over, barrel rolls down the back straightaway. 74 still tumbling. Caution is out.
Got a little shot from the back end from Music in the corner. The tough part is with the angle of these bumpers, you can end up having it ramp across, and in this case, that's what Wiseman had on the slide back up the racetrack. Watch right here. Music a little bit quicker at this point. Try to exit a little bit higher up, accidentally got on the bumper, try to let him save it, and then everyone else is stacked up.
And that's really unfortunate for Tanner Berge, who had done a great job. He fell to 7th before the initial caution. worked his way back up to third and was fighting for that third spot, but there was nowhere to go on the outside when the 74 of Wiseman got broadsided to the outside wall. Let's watch along with the 5 of Michael Wade, who was just behind this fight.
He had a quick reaction to make sure he didn't get involved. Look at that. Barely missed it.
Oh my goodness. That is inside, outside. Oh, gotta take it right. But, you know, what do you, I mean, JP, I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the incident. That's definitely just a racing incident between the 47 and the 74. Because, I mean, that's just rally music trying to get to the outside on that caution, or excuse me, out of that corner, and just, I mean, minimal contact.
Yeah, the tough thing is just the tough spot on where the contact came in the first place. Music cards destroyed from that, by the way, too. But now it becomes the huge part on the rest of this. Will Peterson be able to get a chance to be able to go immediately at his championship rival here? He's got third spot now with an immediate chance to try and dive to the bottom here, take a battle to second if the 15's able to clear by instantly.
I know why you immediately went to Christian Peterson. I do not want to discount, however, the 9 of Millette. I think he led handily earlier, and honestly, just within those couple of laps that he was defending, again, this is a different racetrack than we've been to normally all season long, in a different driving style. I think Millette put up a solid defense to the 15 of Terzak. I think one of the best we've seen all season. Now, that was when he was holding the inside line. Now he's not the control car, and he's still on the outside. But could he find a way to fall in line behind the 15 and in between the 71 of Christian Peterson, and maybe find a way to get back on offense?
That's my huge question here. It's going to require almost being on the bumper without spinning the 15 out here. Remember, in all of this, by the way, Music going to have to serve a drive-through penalty. That's going to take him completely out of contention for this one and put him as at best for 13th. But the attrition's built up. Will the boxing gloves continue to come out in this brand new year?
I can only imagine so. In the first race of 2026, I think it's been one of our most entertaining of all the Misfit Touring Series Season 3. These drivers wanted to come out and put on a banger for the opening of the year, and they have done so far. Less than 1/4 of the way left to go. 76 laps complete on to number 77, and Terzak drives it down into one. But look at this crossover from Millette. He looks to the inside, but won't have the momentum to carry it out of 2.
Yeah, nicely done on the dive, though. Look at that. Millette gave a break, though. Made sure he didn't slam it to Terzak. Here we go again.
Jake Grout was one of the biggest drivers involved. I just heard tires sliding. I was riding along with John Leday, and I heard tires sliding behind. Grout was nearly in the top 5. You said it earlier, JP. He's one that really turns it on later in the race, and he was fighting for the top 5. He's finished top 5 every race this season. And it looks like John Leday and him were racing close into 3, and it was left rear contact and then more contact from the 19 of Chris Shepard to turn the 49 around.
Yeah, Leday just didn't arc as early compared to Grout. And now Grout's going to have to get some damage repair. That's pretty significant for the points shuffle here. Remember, had a 20-point buffer to Peterson coming into tonight. With the way things could go, Grout could lose a decent amount of ground here with Peterson being up towards the front despite the attrition.
Well, and if he was to finish here, I think he would lose that championship points lead. I can't say for certain, but I can only imagine that he most likely will. Look, let's give a shout out to Greggy Long. What a drive this has been for him. I mean, he was holding on to the tail end of the pack that was saving early on, and within the first 50 laps ran 11th pretty much all of this race long. And now later in the going, when other drivers have gotten into it, he has stayed out of it, and he has put himself up into 3rd place. That's pretty good from Greggy Long.
Yeah, Long, your biggest mover with 11 spots throughout this one. He was one of the drivers who had to come in for some repairs too, I believe, at one point. At a 34-second stop, his front end is crushed. That's how much the attrition popped up for some of the drivers, as Leday, as you expect, will go to the tail with about 20 to go. These drivers are running out of time to be able to recover from mistakes. There's plenty of time if you're Aaron Johnson, though. He's up in the top 5, but the freshest tires in the field likely.
I was just going to mention him because, and honestly, I will say, I don't think it's too much because of strategy. I think a lot of drivers have kind of taken themselves out, gotten EOLs, and moved back in the pack. Johnson has just kind of stayed clean and moved forward slowly because of it. Now I would like to see how those tires might fare, because I think when we have gone under green flag conditions, he has not been as fast as we might have thought he would have been. Now that he's challenging for maybe the top 5, is there a little extra that he is able to find? All of that we'll just have to wait for and take a look and see. We'll start inside of row number 3. He'll be inside of Christopher Shepard in the 19, who's also in a fight to break inside the top 5 in overall points standings this season, as we're nearing the halfway portion of Season 3. It's crazy to think we're already getting to that midway portion and already halfway over with the season, but we are coming close to doing just that. There's only been 2 winners, Terzak and Peterson. Terzak lines up at the front. Peterson lines up 4th. We are green. It is Aiden Millett, a young rookie, and Greggy Long 2nd and 3rd.
Millett got the better jump, but obviously had to let Terzak get settled back in since Terzak was originally the control car. Millett, though, trying to take away the run. Able to get to the door, but still nothing doing to be able to keep it there.
It was better than his first restart, but it still wasn't enough to carry momentum out of the corner. Dig it side by side. It's contact between Peterson and Greggy Long, and you saw that, a tactical save for the 71 to turn it to the right side of the 38 and keep him straight, but it's going to be more contact for the 38. Greggy Long hard into the wall off the nose of the 19, still driving straight. We stay green.
That was a couple different hits there. Hits cars killed. Oh, man. Here we go again.
Oh. And yellow will come out.
Yeah, that right front was killed on Lawn, I think. That's why he just couldn't turn there. Wasn't his fault. That car just got destroyed by so many hits.
Yeah, and we'll jump back to the initial contact between Christian Peterson and Long. And it was a good move by Peterson to straighten back out the 38, because if he would have spun, caution would have come out and the 71 would have taken the EOL. So while he will have right front damage because of it, he will hold his 3rd place position. So now Greggy Long off the pace. It's 3 wide with Johnson, Shepard, and Greggy Long, and it's just 3 into 1 didn't work. And then more contact from Larson Parker put that 38 hard into the wall, and that's what cut down the right front. Yeah, and you can see him. It's going to go down right here into turn 1. He just cannot hold that car down. And so 2 other drivers pile in. It's Thomas Dean and Landon Atkins.
Yeah, now we're running out of fresh race cars here. I think at least half the cars remaining have been down pit road, whether for the tire check or with some damage repair. So at this point, it's the matter of who not only has the better tires for the charge here with so many heat cycles, but who's got the car that isn't crushed in here with fenders destroyed or anything along those lines with how things are faring out here. I think Johnson could very well steal a top 3 here if things heat up again.
I'd have to agree with you. And I think the only other one that is, the only are 2 that are all nearly undamaged, if not completely undamaged, will be Terzak and Millett. I think they have raced. I love to see young drivers race as clean as them 2 have, because they have done such a great job giving each other equal respect while putting on a good show.
Yep, and now we get ready to see next time by, or a couple of times from now, can Millett get a crossover to the inside, in turn 3, make it stick to the door, force the 15 up without hitting him. Get it done clean, because Millett's trying to do this as clean as possible here. What does he have to do to force the lift? He's going to have to be a little bit better off a 2 to be able to get a little bit further along that 15 to keep it side by side, I think.
There's dirty driving and there's contact driving. And Millett is going to have to make some sort of contact with the 15. And he's not going to go into 1 and door him. He's not going to come out of 2 and lift up the rears and try to spin him around. But I think we've seen it He's gone to the inside, and each time Terzak has had great momentum off of each and every corner, able to pull him down the straightaway, and they're no longer side by side. I think to combat that, the 9 will have to make some contact center of the corner with the 15, just move him up out of line to where he can't carry the momentum down the straightaway and to where they're even down into 3. Now, the question is, will he do that? I don't know. We have not seen any hard contact out of them all race long, but we're coming down to it, and there is only 11 laps remaining, and drivers can get desperate. Green flag back in the air. Terzak holds the inside. Millette looks to cross over, but he's going to get tagged by the 71 of Peterson. Peterson's up and around, and it's 3 wide in the grass. It is cars destroyed all across the field.
Well, tempers are flaring. And I'm going to have to see this again here, quite simply. I can't tell if Millette tried to turn down or if Peterson came up. It was, I think, a little bit of column A, column B almost.
Yeah, I think Millette, I mean, it looked like he was going for the move he's done the past 2 restarts, try to turn down and get the crossover, and just was not clear by miles.
Oh, my God. Terzak in live action also just went around under the caution with the check of the pace car. Johnson, no, in fact, Wade just ran over the 15.
Oh, my goodness. And he got damaged. That car is skewed a little bit. So let's look at this. This is under the caution. This is way after our incident. Here comes the pace car, and look at Michael Wade, just was not looking and runs right up under the rear of the 15 of Terzak. I don't think he's going to have any significant damage enough. I don't think that's going to prevent him from winning this race, but there could be something.
He got a spot back because it's under caution.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I want to go back. Yeah, definitely. I want to go back to the incident again with Millette and Peterson that started all of that. I mean, Peterson, I've got to think he's 2 laps down. He's fixing damage. And what looked like a night where he possibly could have taken the overall championship lead, he was up on his lid, and now will probably most likely finish outside of the top 10. Let's look at this incident again because there was more that was involved. Aaron Johnson got a piece of it. I think Larson Parker got some of it. There were about 6 cars involved at least. And yeah, I think that's Millette just coming down, and then it looked like Peterson was checking up when a driver got into the rear of him, and that created the rest of the stacking up. Thomas Dean was also involved. He's got a meatball flag, same with Michael Wiseman. So I think there were more drivers involved in that just behind him. We saw some of them 3 wide in the grass. And Johnson was one of them, but I don't see any visible damage for him. Parker's got some right front damage, but he's made it back up. Remember we talked about him giving up that spot early on? Well, he's back in the top 3 again.
Now, this is going to get wild here. Millette got the cause of caution, by the way, if that is the big point. But Parker at this point, going to be interesting to see if that fender fares out. Johnson, I don't know how the damage is going to play out here, but at this point, Terzak's got, I think, despite getting hit there, the only clean car left in the entire field. Yes, he's got the only car that hasn't taken a hit so far to damage that's sent him to pit road or damage that's still in the car.
Well, and look at this. Here's Jake Kraut. Even after getting wrecked, he is back in the top 5, hoping to continue the streak of top 5s in every race so far this season. He's done it 6 times. Can he do it a 7th? But we've got to decide a winner. We've got to decide a car to become victorious. There's only 6 laps left to do it. Terzak and Johnson, row 1 into 1.
Oh, Johnson nearly snapped around loose. He is really leaning on the rear tires almost too much here. That's going to be a problem here if he's not able to settle it down and get a chance at a run. Grout, though, despite the front nose being crushed, is getting good speed on corner exit.
He is tracking down the 78 of Johnson little by little. It looks like whatever Johnson did to save his tires earlier wasn't enough. That car is pushing in and out of the corner. He is burning down that right front. All the while, a battle goes on for the 4th spot between Leday and Parker. Leday would love to get a top 5 out of this day.
Especially with all the ups and downs we've seen for the 22, but we already know He's not afraid to get a bit physical for some of the spots here. Just wrapped around the top easy to make the pass. Nicely done for the 22, but now it's the matter, can he find a way to get himself past Grout, or better yet, Johnson, who is really struggling here.
John Leday has only ever finished on the podium once in the Misfit Touring Series, and he would love to do it again. And look at this. Hard contact between Parker and Riley Music. Parker not ecstatic about it over the radio, but Riley Music, he wants to get back into the top 5, and he is really showing his aggressive nature.
Yeah, I think for Music, the frustrations popped up a lot tonight. It's been about keep it calm, think about the big picture, and there's only so much you can do to be able to get back into a spot to pounce. Look at Grout though. He's trying to get the run to the inside, just cannot seem to get the wraparound here with the final laps coming up.
2 laps remain. The battle for second between Johnson, Grout, and Leday. The driver you're not seeing, Kyle Turzak, 1 second ahead of the 3 of these. It took him time to get back to the front, but he eventually did it. We normally see him do it quicker, but he's played his mythology. He has done it. 1 more to go. White flag in the air. A lot of times we see him charge to the front a little faster, but tonight with a different track, a different style, Turzak showed everyone that no matter what, he could find his way to the front. It's going to be 3 in a row out of 4 this time, 5 overall in 7 races. Kyle Turzak wins at Lucas Oil.
What a race. It was eventful. A lot of attrition tonight, but in the end, Turzak, again, waited for the right moments to pounce, maintain control once you gave him the lead.
This kid is something else. Truly. You keep watching him on iRacing, and he does do some pro late model racing in real life, but keep watching. I think if this guy has the money to do it in real life, he's gonna turn some heads, because he has truly showed his speed and his strength on iRacing as just such a young driver. It'll be Aaron Johnson coming up second in terms of the scoring charts. Jake Grout finishes on the podium after traveling. I mean, he was outside of the top 10 for the first half of the race, and he's a back half guy, like you said, JP, and he's done it once more. Gets into the top 5 and into the top 3, and we'll get your results and your interviews here just after our break. We'll be right back. What a chaotic end of the race, and yet it provided us with so much entertainment. But once again, it was Kyle Turzak that came up on top at the end of all the laps. Aaron Johnson, from a truly aggressive tire-saving strategy, worked out in the end to some form or fashion. He finishes second. Jake Grout, a driver who does it late. I mean, truly impressive what him and Johnson were able to do. He finishes in third. John Lede comes up just shy of the podium, but a season best finish for number 22 in fourth. Bradley Music, even though causing 2 incidents and having to do a drive-through penalty under green, finishes in the top 5. Larson Parker finishes 6th. Aiden Millette, battling for the lead, led the most laps this evening, but he just was not able to finish it out after getting involved in the wreck with Christian Peterson. Finishes 7th. Christopher Shepard, 8th. Landon Atkins in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 was a 5 of Michael Wade.
11th tonight went the way of Christian Peterson with a DNF. And then it's Thomas Dean who finished off in 12th. Tanner Berge finished down 11th down in 13th. Long, Weissman, and Atkinson for the rest of the running order here tonight.
So, as we do per usual, let's get our race winner in here, and it's Kyle Turzak. We've talked to him now 3 times in a row. And again, with all of us, I think, in the booth and in the field, I can't say we're too terribly surprised. But Kyle, it was a bit of a different win for you. You didn't go out and dominate with the laps led. It was kind of more slow and methodical for you to make your way to the front.
Yeah, this track is really abrasive, and I knew that we had to save a lot of tire, and I did that pretty well. I feel like I picked through Peterson and all those guys, and they had that caution that came out, and I knew that I had to wait for a little bit, and I saw that Millette and Atkinson were battling for a little bit, and then a caution came out. I got passed by Atkinson, and it just kind of just flown right into my hands. So nice to get another win. Try to close this points battle back up after missing 2 races, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at that. And yeah, it was a pretty good race between me and Millette. He would cross me over, and we would just have an all-out battle. So that was pretty fun.
I was just about to ask about Millette because, to my knowledge, y'all haven't raced together in real life. You were going to be able to at South Boston on the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 weekend when you had the engine problems that took you out of starting that race. But the race between y'all, I said it was very clean and very respectful, and it was very enjoyable. I wanted to hear your take on it.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. We've raced a couple times in real life, but I haven't really.
There we go. I was wrong.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't actually raced with him. I haven't got that chance yet, but I think this year we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty fun tonight. Like I said, we kind of just slide jobbed each other for a little bit there. Then off that restart, I didn't expect the top to come in like that, so that was pretty fun to try and get him on the top. And then I found this tiny little gap that I can cross him over, which I did, and you know it just worked out to my advantage. So definitely got that done. That was a big key, controlling those restarts and just getting the track position.
Towards the end there, we obviously saw the little incident under caution. Did you think you had any damage because of that, or did you know that the car was okay?
I knew it was okay. He had an issue on his side, he said, and he was on our voice call, so everything was fine there. And I have a little button that iRacing added, which is great, that you can check your damage. It said no damage, so I knew that I was gonna be okay. And
Oh, I need to know about that button.
yeah, I didn't find out about it until like a week ago, so I was like, okay, I need to bind that. But anyways, yeah, that definitely got lucky right there, because I feel like if that was real life, I would have been destroyed. So thanks to iRacing on that part. But yeah, that was crazy. Actually, it's really crazy.
It definitely was. We were shocked. Anyone you like to thank tonight, Kyle?
I want to thank Adams and you guys for the broadcast tonight. I want to thank Arcane Sub Shop. This is Ryan's cup of tea. Big tracks. He loves them. I want to thank Corey Buddy Raps for putting this thing in iRacing. Matthew Designs for doing all the real life raps and designing this thing. Turzak Racing on Facebook, Hot Shot Photography for the best iRacing photos, and everybody's watching back at home.
Well, it may be a new year, but it is the same Kyle Turzak. He is a winner once more, 3 in a row now, 5 overall. Congratulations, Kyle.
Thank you, guys.
That's Kyle Turzak winning. And by the way, JP, he still has the opportunity to break his record from last season. It was 10 wins in one season, the most in MRL Touring Series history, and the door is still open for that with 8 races remaining, and he only has to win 5 of them to at least tie it and win 6 to overcome that record. So we'll see if he's able to do that. But let's get to talk to our second place driver. It was a driver who had quite a wild strategy.
Yes, indeed. Aaron Johnson. Let's start with the obvious. You were driving about 10% for about 60% of this race. Why?
It's just a tire saving game on my end. I was gonna play the long game, and hopefully it came to me. But got caught up in that last caution right there. Just kind of messed everything up for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, what was kind of your emotional reaction as things started to fall into place with your strategy after it trended green to start and you fell a lap down and then put yourself into the conversation even with the incident?
Knew if I could have saved the tires just enough, I was either gonna be the car to beat or contending to win this race. Thurzak's just tough to beat anywhere you go, and just I was hoping everything was gonna go great, no cautions. I'd just get away from everybody. It's just you never know what's gonna happen.
So, how do you feel about the mystery race next time out? How do you feel about the mystery surrounding where we go?
I think we'll be fine. We'll just have to play it by ear. Hopefully, we'll have a good car for them, and we'll hopefully put it in victory lane one time. Hopefully.
Any shout you like to give here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting, Kyle for putting this on, the guys back at RKM Setup Shops give us a real fine piece tonight. Uh, just trying to just hold it on for everybody. Just hopefully we could have won this, but it's just one of those things couldn't happen. So I appreciate everybody watching.
Congratulations on the podium tonight, Aaron.
Appreciate it.
Aaron Johnson gets second spot, Scott.
Well, and the driver in third spot was a driver that somehow, each and every week, whenever he's not contending for a win, somehow finds his way either onto the podium or into the top 5. Jake, you continue to amaze us, not because we don't think you have the skill, but just the positions that you find yourself in at the racetrack to find yourself back onto the podium or in the top 5. What was your strategy coming into the night? Because I think for the first 50 laps, you were running outside of the top 10.
Uh, yeah, the first 50, I thought we had the car to win. Whenever we got that first caution, I went down pit road and I still had like 80 something percent tire left, and I thought, well, I know Turzak don't have that, so if he doesn't have it, no one else probably has it, so we can go get us one. And then disaster struck yet again, and we got taken out of contention. So I don't know. I guess I just need to fly, get an airplane.
Well, I mean, you're having great races. You're having clean races for yourself, and you're finding yourself into top 5s. Is it one of those things that you think, yes, I'm being consistent, and yes, I'm finding my way and putting myself in position for good results? Do you think at the same time it's like, well, I need more because Tursak's out there winning?
I mean, yeah, I feel like sometimes we need some more, but I mean, South Boston, I feel like I had it. Here, I feel like we had it, and I just got taken out of contention by either other people or just luck of the draw. So, I don't really know. I mean, I want to go faster. We're the points leader, and it doesn't feel like it. Like I feel like I'm just fifth place points, speed right now. So I need to figure something out and get some luck on my side, I guess.
Do you think some of that luck could maybe come next week at the mystery night? Some drivers, not going to have a lot of time. No, drivers really only going to have the 1 hour of practice to get their setups and how it's going to be for race time. Do you think that might help you maybe lean Lady Luck to your side a little bit?
I think it could help, yeah. And I also feel like we might have a good chunk of cautions just because people aren't going to be prepared for what we're going to go into, and they're going to miss out on setup and end up either blowing right rears or just being way too loose. So It's gonna be interesting for sure. I don't quite know what to expect. I got laps at almost every short track on the sim, so hopefully that can play out in my favor. I know Turzak's probably gonna grind all week and turn 100 laps at each track because that's what he does. But
Anyone you'd like to shout out tonight?
I gotta thank Jana Sales and Service, White Heating, Curly Transport, AW Clark, RKM Setup Shop, KCB Addy, uh, Mom, Gramp. Thank you guys.
Well, it didn't look probable, Jake, but you did it, and you found yourself onto the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jake Grout rounds out our third place position, and what a drive it was for him, and a really impressive drive. And even though he felt like he was taken out of the race and could have had a fight for the win, a podium has to feel at least somewhat of a consolation. JP, your thoughts on this evening, and maybe your thoughts as well as we go into next week, the mystery night.
I think tonight, attrition definitely played a major factor with some of the physicality. It happens at a track like this where you have it be a one-lane sensitive track for majority of the way and you have to fight for the groove. But the major thing to consider, though, is you're not going to have as much prep time, let's put it that way, for next week. You don't know where to go. You don't know what setup to get it dialed up. You better have a setup in the bank to know where you're going or prepare for any type of situation next week. And oh, by the way, we're still a couple weeks out from the MRL 500 on the 31st and February 1st. Going to be a busy time for some of the drivers that are looking to do some super speedway racing too from the series.
It is officially 2026, 1 month away from the MRL 500. If you ever heard of the Podium 500, this is that race newly rebranded, and it has been in coalition with everyone over there. So it is going to be a big race, and everything is going to be brought to you right here on V-Speed, as well as the continuation of the Misfit Touring Series Season 3. That'll bring us to a conclusion of our broadcast this evening. Thank you for watching us on V-Speed. I've been joined alongside by Morgan Cook, our excellent producer, and our cameras provided by Dougie Beard, and my excellent and awesome analyst in the booth, Justin Prince. My name is Scott Shive. We'll see you next time for the Mystery Night this following Saturday.